Welcome everyone. In this video, let's see how can we use TypeScript and Express together. First, I have opened an empty folder inside of VS Code and I've opened an integrated terminal. And first, let's initialize our npm project by saying yarn init-y. This will create a package.json in the root directory, as you can see here, with some name, version, and license. And now we have to install Express. So I'm saying yarn add Express. This will install Express in our project. Now initially we will do how we do in JavaScript and slowly convert it into TypeScript. So I have created a source folder, and inside of this source I'm creating index.js file. This is a typical JavaScript file and typical Express application. We are gonna do it first. Let's import Express by saying const express is require Express, and let's make an app out of Express. Let's listen. Okay, let's do a get route, basic get route, and it says hello world. And then app.listen. Oh my gosh, app.listen. Let's listen to port 5000 and let's print out a message that we are listening there. Okay, everything's done by GitHub Copilot. So let's see, there's something wrong. We are missing a brace here, right? So this is a typical Express application that you would build with an JavaScript. So let's see how can we run this file. How can we run this? We can do it by saying node source/index.js. Perfect, everything runs fine. Now that we have our basic Express JavaScript application ready, let's see how can we convert this into a TypeScript project. So before that, just wanna give a quick introduction to TypeScript. So TypeScript is just like this. It's a superset of JavaScript. It has all the functionalities built into the TypeScript, but it has some more functionalities extra that are very useful. So TypeScript is a language, but it's actually being compiled by some compiler into the JavaScript. So essentially we write TypeScript and we have some compiler in middle, and it finally converts it to JavaScript, and the thing that is running in our servers or our browsers will be pure JavaScript. There is no TypeScript at the runtime. Get this very catchy thing, but we have to remember that TypeScript will be eventually get converted to JavaScript no matter what. TypeScript is not known by browser or node nor anything. Now let's go back and install some packages for TypeScript and convert our project. So I've stopped my server, and for TypeScript we need two things: the TypeScript package itself and the compiler for it. So both are dev dependencies. So we are gonna add yarn add -t tsc. tsc is the compiler that we are gonna use, and TypeScript is actual TypeScript. So let's install them. It's gonna be quick. Yeah, it's done. So now what can we do is, let's convert this .js to a .ts. Let's see if there is any error, or let's see what happens. So I've converted it. Seems nothing happened because we don't have any ts config file. So basically the compiler that we have installed, the tsc compiler that we have installed here, this compiler, in order for it to work, we have to have a file called tsconfig, or you can name any other thing, but basically it's a configuration file to work with TypeScript. So to generate a typical tsconfig file, what you can do is tsc-init. What this will do is create a tsconfig.json file in the root directory. And as you can see here, we got a tsconfig.json file. Let's inspect it. You can see we have so many things laid out here, which is very customizable actually. So the first thing you can see is compiler options, and this is a target JavaScript that it will be get compiled to, and it's using CommonJS module, and there are some strict types. There are many rules, but let's see how is our file ts file doing. Okay, now you can see immediate errors popping out here. So TypeScript has a very nice thing that actually, if you hover over it, you can see the message. Most of the times it's readable and understandable, but you have to keep this in mind. These are actual errors written by programmers, so do not ignore these TypeScript error messages. Now if you can read this, cannot file name required. Do you need to install type definitions for Node? So it's asking us, do you need any type definitions for Node? So probably we have to install that, right? Because it's saying that. It's also giving us a hint to install it by a types/node. So let's first install those. We need two. One is types for node and also types for express. So yarn add -t at types/node and at types/express. So one is the express types and one are the node types. Now let's see what it's complaining about. Okay, see, as you can see, it's gone, but it's complaining here. Requested declared, but its values never read, and parameter request has implicitly type any. So it's saying it's any type. Basically, it's just anything. It can be anything. So first thing is, we can just change this to import express from express. We can do this thing after installing TypeScript, and remaining everything is same, but you can see that error is gone, that it's anything. And now if you just hover over request, you can see request is declared but its values never read. It's okay, we are not doing anything with request, but you can see this request is of type request. So now it has got some types, some perfect types. It's not just anything, it is some type. So to get more insight about that, let's import request and response. So these are the actual types that are being assigned. So we can explicitly say it like this, like request and response. So we can explicitly say that request is of type request and response is of type response. And now to run this, we cannot just run by node. So let's give it a try. Index nodes, node index .ts, and you can see there's a lot of errors here. So simply that's not how it works. So first we have to compile this thing. So in order to compile this thing, first we have to give it some options, that where should that compile JavaScript file go. So open over your tsconfig file, and in there we have two options that we have to uncomment from here. First is outdir. It basically means output directory of the compiled resources. Let's put it as source. And another one is input root directory. The root directory will be the directory from where TypeScript will start saying things. So root directory will be out directory will be dist, and root directory will be source. So now that we got this configuration, let's compile this. So in order to compile, what you have to do is just type in tsc. That's it, just the name of the package, tsc. And now if you just open our sidebar, probably we should see a dist folder. There we go, we have a dist folder. And if you just go inside the dist folder and see, it's basically just JavaScript. It's just JavaScript, that's it. We have our express import and we are sending this hello world. So it's just JavaScript. Now we can run this thing. We can say node dist/index.js, and now it just runs. Another way you can run TypeScript files is by tsnode. So that's another package. You can add it by saying yarn add ts node. So ts node is another package that actually compiles and gives us the output directly uh, without doing some folder stuff, without creating some folders and all those things. So let's do it. Ts node source slash index.ts. So you can see it's just compiling and trying to give the output. There we go. We have this server running on 5000. We didn't do anything. We didn't do an extra dist folder or creating something. It just compiles in the background and just shows us the output. So this is the two ways that we can run TypeScript files. In the next video, let's see how can we deploy this application to Heroku. See you in the next video.